Welcome to Hannity. A terror attack in Manchester in the UK outside of a synagogue earlier today on Yom Kippur, leaving 2 dead. We've got the latest tonight. And despite recent acts of violence from the far left, Democrats clearly have no plans at all of toning down their rhetoric. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass even accusing the Trump administration of, quote, hunting Latinos. Take a look.
Which we refer to here as the hunting of Latinos, that has created a blanket of fear around this city and has had detrimental impacts to our economy.
Now, the Trump administration borders our Tom Homan. He will join us with reaction in just a moment. Also, one of the leaders of the new radicalized left, that's communist Zoran Marxist Mamdani, once again loudly, proudly declaring himself a socialist while appearing on the hard-hitting news show The View yesterday. We'll have more on that coming up. But first tonight, the Schumer shutdown, it does continue. And this is quickly turning into an unmitigated disaster for Democrats as they now struggle to come up with any sort of cohesive messaging, and they continue to just simply lie and embarrass themselves. Now, just as they did earlier this week when Hakeem Jeffries, he decided to live stream the shutdown, leading to, as political reporter Adam Wren put it, lots of cringeworthy moments. The bizarre stunt featured Democratic House members, influencers, including one who has 13.3 million followers on TikTok. Pretty impressive, yet still, almost no one actually watched this pathetic live stream. At times, only a few dozen people tuning in. It became an instant joke among Republicans, and it peaked on YouTube with a whopping 1,000 viewers. Hakeem Jeffries is just not resonating with the new radicalized wing of the Democratic Party, and one thing has become absolutely clear. This is Chucky Schumer's last rodeo. This is it, Chuck. You, Hakeem Jeffries, leaders in name only, beholden to the radical left, led by the squad. AOC owns you, Grandpa Bernie owns you, Jasmine Crockett owns you, and their new hero, the guy you love, that you will endorse. I mark my words, Chucky's going to end up endorsing commie Zoran Marxist Mamdani. They have frankly been outmaneuvered by the far left, and they'll never be able to recover. Chuck's career the days are counting down. And now, according to a new Axios report, Democratic lawmakers, they are facing more pressure from progressive and grassroots, all these groups. Now, everyone needs to understand one fundamental truth about the Schumer shutdown. This is nothing more than a desperate ploy by Chucky to cling to his diminished power and relevancy because he's blinded by political power and ambition. He is then cast aside, as we've been showing you, a lifetime of core beliefs, consistent beliefs, believe it or not, to appease this new radical base that is in charge, that now calls the shots. In the end, they will, in all likelihood, be saying bye-bye, Chucky. But aside from their cringeworthy antics and pathetic attempts at deflecting the blame, the biggest problem is the left is lying to you, the American people. Joe, he's so energetic, he's hard to keep up with. The borders are closed. The borders are secure. Oh, no, the economy's doing great. They're telling you that they don't want taxpayer-funded health care for illegals. When you hear this, understand you are being lied to at a very high level. I don't like being lied to. Your kids get in trouble, okay, they do something dumb, they get punished for that. But when they lie to you about it, they're in more trouble. Take a look.
No, not even a little bit, not even at all. This is what Republicans love to do. Whenever we fight to elevate the minimum wage, to expand Social Security, to make healthcare better in this country, in order to derail that, Republicans love to dangle this shiny object that says, but what if someone not like you gets it?
Oh, that's what Republicans are saying? I never knew that before. And she was far from the only Democrat spreading this lie. Now, New Hampshire Senator, this was an amazing moment. LJ, Fox and Friends this morning, Senator Jeanine Shaheen claimed on Fox and Friends that her party doesn't want taxpayer-funded health care for illegals. That was before being confronted by LJ with her party all raising their hand that they want health care for illegals. Take a look.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that. Actually, I have some tape of your Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage. So they've all said it. Let's play the clip.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Senator, that's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more progressive, that have said that in the past. I'm seeing them all on the cable.
I beg to disagree with you. I have not said that in the past.
What are you talking about? I mean, I don't know anyone that's saying it. I'm so glad you said that. Let me prove to the country that you're lying. Now, they can't hide from their own policy requests and expenditures. This is what they have been pushing for years. And earlier today, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, spoke to the press, and he set the record straight. Take a look.
The one big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, included a huge provision. A big chunk of that bill was the health provisions. Now, why are we saying that they want to return and restore taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens? Because that's exactly what they did. When they rejected the clean CR that we sent over, the Senate Democrats.
All right, we're listening here to Speaker Johnson. He's trying to frame the shutdown as a Democratic shutdown. He also falsely claimed that Democrats want to give extend health care to illegal immigrants. That is not true. Illegal immigrants are not eligible for federal health care programs.
What fake news CNN just said is not true. No wonder nobody watches them. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Let's tell you the truth. Page 57, the Democrats' ridiculous proposed resolution. Let's read it, shall we? Subtitle B of Title 7 of the act titled An Act to Provide for Reconciliation pursuant to Title 2 of the House Continuing Resolution 14, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill, is repealed. Okay, what does that mean? It means their proposed resolution would repeal new safeguards against waste, fraud, abuse in health care spending and restore and continue $200 billion taxpayer dollars, taxpayer-funded health care subsidies that go to illegal aliens. The left wants to reinstate Biden-era emergency COVID funding, supposed to be temporary. That would include giving funds for health care to illegals. Again, it was supposed to be temporary, ended by the One Big Beautiful Bill. If the radical left feels so strongly about this, there's nothing stopping them from catering, and creating their own fund. And they're able to provide health care to illegals. They can pull money out of their own pocket. After all, they're so generous. I've always said liberals are generous with everyone else's money, but not their own. And I'm sure they could dig deep in their pockets. They could pay for housing and health care and education for illegal immigrants that they have created sanctuary cities and states for, if they care so passionately about it. But of course, they would never do that, would they? They want to spend your money, your hard-earned tax dollars, as if you're not taxed enough, to pay for health care for people who do not respect our laws, our borders, our sovereignty. No, they're not going to spend their own money. They're not even willing to give up their own paycheck, even though other working government officials will not be paid. Our military, as of mid-October, will not be getting a paycheck during the Schumer shutdown. Oh, but people in Congress will. Remember, they did Obamacare, but they did not include themselves. They all got to opt out into a much better system. And anyway, there was an awkward sidestep from Hakeem Jeffries when asked yesterday if they will continue themselves in Congress to receive checks. It was pretty entertaining. Jasmine Crockett said the quiet part out loud. Got to give it to Jasmine. Take a look.
So as I've been telling people, your payment is on layaway. Yeah, that's basically what that is. Now, that is for those people that are deemed essential. You have a number of people in the federal government that are not deemed essential. So if someone's not deemed essential, then they're sitting at home waiting to get called back to work. And even if they're sitting at home, they are not allowed to go out and get another job. Yeah, they make you be broke until they get their stuff together. And to be clear, members of Congress, we still get paid. I just want to put that out there because I like to be fully transparent.
I appreciate full transparency. The rest of you can eat cake. We're getting paid. Democrats claim to be the party of the people. They claim a monopoly of compassion for Americans. They claim to care about you, but they obviously do not. They care about blind, desperate political power ambition, which is exactly how we ended up in this position to begin with. And here is what we are up against with the Schumer shutdown. Democrats are demanding a whopping $1.5 trillion in new government spending so they can refund NPR, PBS, continue to pay for health care for illegals, even though they're lying about it. We're approaching nearly $38 trillion in national debt. We're stealing from our children and grandchildren. And Democrats, this is what they want: $1.5 trillion in new spending, or the government gets shut down, and they will then graciously allow the government to stay open for 7 extra weeks. Why? To fund their insane, radical, and frankly dangerous, guaranteed to bring the country to bankruptcy policies. They have zero compunctions about robbing from our future generations, all because they are beholden to this, new Green Deal, cradle to grave, womb to the tomb mindset, and the radical left taking their party hostage. But here's what the Democrats are completely missing in this shutdown. This is an unprecedented opportunity they are giving to President Donald J. Trump and the OMB director, Russ Vought, to cut waste and make irreversible changes to the bloated federal workforce through layoffs. You might want to call it DOGE 2.0, if you will. Even the Washington Post picked up what we had pointed out from the beginning. Their editorial board warning Democrats that they may have just been led blindly by their far-left flank into a trap set by Donald Trump. The administration, they now have the power, the opportunity to clean up the bureaucratic nightmare that Washington has become and that is bankrupting our country. And by the way, it may be irreversible. This is an unprecedented chance. It's time to use the moment to cut back the size, the scope, the influence of our bloated bureaucracy. And you can thank Chucky Schumer because he wants to stay in power for leading the Democrats right off the cliff. Meanwhile, earlier this week, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley got into a yelling match with a former Biden administration official over so-called two-spirit safe spaces. Take a look.
Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report. You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
you wrote the
report. How that was
written.
But what I'm telling you is that what
is a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views. Well, you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
no, sir.
violence.
You're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer.
I still don't get it.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.